What's up guys, this is your boy Johnny, and here I'm gonna answer to the question that a lot of people have in their minds. Is it worth to buy an old sailboat and restore it? Well, let's divide on a couple of segments. First, how expensive is the new boat comparing the old one? Second, how much job and money you have to place on the old boat? Third, advantages of having an old boat. The downside of having the old boat. And is it really worth it? Before I jump and answer to those questions, I want to mention that in my life I restored 2 sailboats. And now I work with a 50 years old Hallberg Rassi. So this comes from my own experience. So how expensive is the new boat comparing the old one? There's a lot of factors that can determine the price. For instance, the size, the sailboat brand, equipment, and so on. The new boat can easily be 5 to 10 times more expensive than the old one. It really actually depends of the brand. So no surprise that people choose older boats. Are there really people choosing the older boats comparing the new ones only because of the money? I don't think so. These days the modern boats are mostly built for people who are not actually sailing around the world. And not sailing so much at all actually. These days the modern boats mostly are built for not a real sailors. And I mean by real sailors the ones that actually live in that lifestyle. The ones who are sailing around the world, the ones who are living in the boat all the time and not just by weekends going out. No offense, just more and more people choose a nice, spacious, easy boat to handle. A lot of things runs on electricity, and if those things start break, oh my gosh. But that's another story. And honestly, who wouldn't want that, right? I mean, it's nice, spacious, and everything is looking so great. But the problem is that in order to achieve that, they sacrifice the other things that is really, really crucial for sailing. How much money and job you have to place in the older boats. Here again, the condition of the boat means a lot. You can approach the sailboat who needs a lot of work. It will take a lot of money and time. Maybe that's something that you like, and why not? At the end it will be a little bit cheaper than buying a new boat, and you will learn a lot of things during the process. But if that's not the thing that you like to do, then find a boat that needs a little refreshment maybe, or just a little bit of work. Just remember that little bit of work usually spreading quite big. So you really want to find a boat that is quite okay as much as possible, because I promise you there is no any single boat in the world where you don't need to do anything. Even buying a new boat, you still gonna place money in the boat because the thing's gonna break. Put the new technologies, which is sometimes they are not really proved, so they break instantly. People who are approaching new boats and they think I'm gonna have a new boat and I'm not gonna think about anything. Forget about all the boat work and stuff, but it never plays out like that. So think about that actually. So buying a boat that don't need so much to do, sure it will be easier and perhaps not so expensive. And at the end it really ends up with your personal needs and how far you want to go with everything. I spend hours and hours on my project and I can't see the end of this project. So if the boat work really is not for you, then find a boat that doesn't need so much to do. But like I mentioned, there is no single boat that you can find in the market that need no work at all. Maybe for the second, but it will come up really shortly, promise you that. Advantage of having the old boat is that first, of course, it's not that expensive. Second, they used to build boats better than they actually doing that right now. I mean, they build it really like heavy duty boats, and not like 100% all, but most of them were very, very strongly built, and that's definitely advantage of having an older boat. If you're buying a new car and after 10 years it's old car, if you're buying a boat after 10, 20, 50 years even, it's still worth is a lot for a sailboat. And if it's well kept, well, the worth of the sailboat is really high. I think that's really advantage. Second advantage, I believe, is possibility to do something with the boat. Because if you're buying a new boat, you really don't want to change anything there. Because if you change, then it's expensive. Because you really need to do the same materials, otherwise it's gonna look like shit. In the older boat, you just paint it white, or one-ish, or yeah, you can do the things yourself. And even if it's not perfect, it's still gonna look okay. I believe that's advantage for the older boats. And then you think maybe it's not so important, but actually it is quite. You find yourself in that situation really often when you want to do something different, and then the new boat is like so nice, everything, and then you have to get professionals who are actually doing that, and they're gonna charge you a lot. Well, the downside of having the old boat, for instance, the equipment. A lot of boats doesn't have a good equipped boat, so you find out buying a lot of things that you need: the wind instruments, the rudder, the windlass, the electronic systems. Some people, the fridges doesn't work. There's a lot of things that doesn't work comparing like the new boat. If you're lucky, then for a new boat there probably everything works. All those systems are installed, so you don't need to think about it. And I believe that's kind of disadvantage for the older boat. And of course you can find in the market that has all these features already installed, but the most of the boats is not well equipped. And if they are with the old systems, which is basically, yeah, they are working, but comparing the all newer generation systems, that is so much easier, like the displays are easier to watch and stuff on. Having an old boat disadvantage also is fixing the things all the time. Basically constantly something needs to be fixed. But it's the same for the new boats, so, but not in that scale. Like, you don't need to do a refit, for instance, for the new boat, because it is already really good looking boat. So yeah, I think that's quite a huge disadvantage having an old boat. And is it really worth it to buy an old boat? I believe if you like to work with the boats, if you enjoy to old boats, then definitely a lot of people just buy boats and work with the boats. They love to work with the boats. For instance, me, I like to work with the boats, but more I like sailing than working with the boat, actually. But I enjoy that, to work with the boat. And I mean, so if you are like me, who likes kind of working with the boats, then definitely yes, buy an older sailboat, refit, and yeah, it's gonna be cheaper than buying a brand new boat. Do that. But if that's really not your thing, you just want to go out and sail, so everything is working properly and stuff, buy a new boat. Don't forget what I've said before. You can't find a new boat that everything will be perfect and gonna work for years. There is no such a boat. Okay fellas, I hope I answered to the questions, and see you in the next topic. For now, take care. Bye bye.